Hello everyone, welcome to LEGO Backlot, or LEGO Studios Backlot, rather. I've always just called it LEGO Backlot. Anyway, this is a game that was formerly a game that you could play in browser on the LEGO website when I was a kid. It was long removed from the site before the Flash player died. So I am playing this with the program Flashpoint. The game window for this game is extremely tiny, the default, and you can't change it. So I was basically playing off of the OBS window here, and this is me just kind of getting my bearings, i.e. pressing a lot of keys to see if they do anything. But it's a pretty simple game, as you can tell. I love these shitty word bubbles with the... I think that's Comic Sans, right? The font? It's not always Comic Sans. And I love jumping before this cutscene so that I float in the air. And here is our actor, Johnny Tsunami, or whatever his name is. Don't want to talk over the cutscene, you know. I like the sound that car makes as it goes by. So anyway, this is a game that is you play as a young Lego boy and you walk into the Lego Studios and you try to get a job, and the way that you do jobs, or the way that you get a job, is by doing various favors for the people that work there for free, which might have been the case at one point in Hollywood, but if this game were true to life, then the way that you would get a job is that you would just show up and then show them that, you know, like, your dad was a producer on The Goonies or something. Anyway, yeah, just like generational wealth, you know what I'm saying? But this might have been modeled after the time in like the 70s and 80s. Like you read about guys like Larry King in that time, all these guys who have been in radio or TV for like 50 years, and you read about how they got into their jobs, and it's like they literally just walked into a radio station and were like, hey, I can't really do anything, but I'll work here. And, you know, they just shadowed guys who worked the soundboard and like got them coffee and rub their feet or whatever. So that's essentially what you do in this, is you rub everyone's little weird Lego nubs. But no, the actual thing you do is mostly just fetch things for people. I have completed this game before, but it was a long time ago. I rarely ever completed it because, as you can imagine, on my parents' old, you know, 75-pound Windows XP computer back in the day. I don't know when this game came out, but it has to be pretty old because it's based on the LEGO Studios theme, which was a set of LEGO sets, which I'll talk about in a minute. And that was discontinued in 2002, so I can't imagine it would be very long after that. I want to say like 2003, because I knew about this game even before my like big LEGO phase, which was when I was about 10 to 14 years old, which would be a little bit after when I actually found out about this game, which is when I was like 7 or 8 or so. So, and it's a pretty old Flash game, and it ran like shit on my computer back in the day. So, but it is fun to revisit here, and I'm just doing the first leg of it here. It's split up into 3 sections or levels, and this first one is getting the stolen or missing gun, binoculars, and hat for our wonderful leading man. And then once you do that, you have enough clout to get a pass, and you become a stagehand, and you run errands for some of these people, and you get to go in all these buildings that I'm walking around. So I would be, willing to do another video. I can't imagine it would take much more than one other video of this to complete the game, especially because hopefully by then I will have gotten a little bit more of a knack for the controls. They're a little bit hard to get used to because you can't turn and move forward at the same time exactly. The turning is like, you control kind of like a tank, and the jumping is quite awkward, and you kind of have to like rub up against things when you press control to interact with them, or it won't work. It's a little bit finicky, as I'm sure you can imagine. I also didn't know what the run button was, because they didn't tell me yet, and I forgot. It's Z, and yeah, so I'm moving very slowly, but don't worry, that won't be the entire time. I think I fucked this up every time when I was a kid, because I did not know that Rosebud was from Citizen Kane, because I had never seen that movie. It's kind of a weird little thing that they have you do there. I mean, it's pretty useless. It's for a tip that doesn't really get you anything, at least as far as I can remember, unless it's something late in the game, but he basically just tells you that you should be fast. But yeah, played this game back in Nam, and this time I did not finish it because the end of this video is a bit abrupt, because for some reason I thought that the pause button, which I don't think there is one, but I think I was going to like go into my backpack to look at the map or something, but I thought there was a pause button, and I thought it was escape, and it turns out that even in the original game, escape literally just crashes the game and erases all of your progress that you have not saved, and I didn't save it all. So if I do make another video completing this game, then I will have to do all this shit again, which shouldn't be too bad. But I was kind of mesmerized by this game because this is how I know that it had to be very early and before my big LEGO phase, my like pre-teen LEGO phase, was that for a short amount of time, this game and some other select games on Lego.com, at least one of which I might make a video about as well, were filling in the gap of like Lego video games for me, because I didn't know about like the Lego Island games. My PC couldn't really run most things. And Lego Star Wars, which was the first Lego game of its type, had not come out yet, and that was 2005, so it had to be before then. Yeah, and also, like I said, it's based on the Lego Studios set, which was from 2000 to 2002. And, I might add, one of many discontinued LEGO themes that I very much miss. Although I never got any of the sets for LEGO Studios, and I barely even remembered that it was a thing. I was like looking into this game a little bit just to see if there were any like fun facts or anything I could find out about it to say while I'm talking over it here. And I completely forgot there was this whole LEGO theme called Studios, which was not only about like the sets were supposed to show like movie sets, but they were specifically modeled around making like stop motion animated Lego films, or brick films as they're known colloquially to Lego boys. And Lego has been, I don't know if they still are, I am not as much of a Lego fiend as I once was, and I'm not as tuned into the Lego verse anymore, but back in the day, including when I was really into them, they really seemed to encourage that sort of thing. They really, I don't know where that trend of using Legos for stop motion started. I imagine it was not very long after the introduction of minifigures, which was in the late 70s. But I'm not sure. I don't know how that started or how it got popularized, but they caught wind of it by at least the year 2000. And they even, and I forgot about it, but in reading about it, I actually remembered it, and I looked at a picture of the box, and it actually looks familiar. There was a Lego set in 2000 that was called the Lego Studios Steven Spielberg Movie Maker set that came with a little functioning Lego stop-motion camera that you would, supposedly use to make little brick films. And the set is in this game. I believe one of the sets in one of the stage buildings, which we're not going to get into in this video, I believe one of them has the scene from Jurassic Park: The Lost World that is depicted in that set. And it was $180 when it came out, which would probably be even more than that. I imagine that was mostly because of the camera, because it was only 400 pieces. And the general rule of thumb with Lego sets, at least nowadays, is $10 for every 100 pieces, roughly. So you would think about $45 or $40 to $50 for that. But again, with the camera, it's a different story. And this was back in the day, so I'm not sure. But anyway, that's pretty cool, and it got me thinking of other Lego themes that have been discontinued, and there are many that I remember. Many of them short-lived, but I remember them. I remember Lego Agents. That was only for like a year, but I saw potential in that. I mean, most kids' things were doing like secret agent stuff in the late 90s and 2000s. I don't know if anyone really picked up on that, but like you had Spy Kids, Spy Gear was really popular on like commercials and at the Scholastic book fairs. I just feel like every single like kid show at the time had like a spy episode or a spy element to it. You had stuff like the X's, and I guess the Replacements isn't really a spy, but there is a spy character in it. Club Penguin had a secret agent thing to it, including one standalone game, I think, for the DS that was all the secret agent stuff. I don't know, it just seems like a thing that was quite, ubiquitous at the time. I also remember the Lego Atlantis sets. That was a new thing around the time that I was kind of getting out of my big Lego phase. Lego Castle is a big throwback and later Lego Knights. I know there's also Nexo Knights. I didn't really do that, but Knights Kingdom, and then just Lego Castle. I really liked that stuff, and I really miss those classic Knight sets. They're really cool. And all of these go for a shitload of money. I mean, Legos are already super expensive, but even more so with these discontinued sets. The old Lego Spider-Man sets from like the 90s, 2000s are all great. I'm looking at some other ones. Well, those are some good ones. I had them pulled up on a list here, but I don't want to look away from the game for too long. Anyway, here we're going to electrocute this gaffer. And he turns into a frickin' skeleton. Anyway, now we can operate the forklift. And then get the binoculars, and then we'll be all gravy. This whole series of events would probably have taken me about 45 minutes when I was a kid. And that is due to a mixture of me being bad at, like, just, figuring out what you're supposed to do, even though they kind of tell you everything. But, it's just a matter of you talking to the right people and whatever. It was a mixture of that and, of course, the game being incredibly slow on my computer. But anyway, oh, that's not what I meant to do. I wish that I could look up at his whole face. I thought that would be funny, but alas. So this was Lego Backlot. If people are interested in seeing the rest of this game, I'd be happy to play through this up to this point again and show off the rest of it. And maybe some other Lego.com stuff. So see you then for that, or whatever else.